MEC for Health, Nomantu Nkomo-Ralehoko, is addressing media following that explosion of what is suspected to be a gas leak in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday on Bree Street. Let's take you live to that press briefing.
Serious injuries, not immediately life-threatening, but still require prompt medical care. It's 8 patients and 2 patients were transferred to Charlotte Maxeke Hospital. P3s with moderate injuries that are not immediately life-threatening, stable enough to wait for medical attention, were 30 patients. P4 fatalities were 1 adult male, unknown patient that was found on the scene. Then we had a breakdown of patients distribution that we did, which I think some of you have received it already from my team of communications led by Mutala Tala. But we had 2 P3 at Hillbrook Community Health Center, which is transported by our own Gauteng provincial team. And then P1 was transported to Garden City, transported by ER24. P3, it was 1 at Hillbrook CHC again, transported by the Rescue 786. P3, there were 3 there at Hillbrook CHC, transported by ER24. And then 1 was it was P3, 1, and we had 1 patient to Hillbrook again, transported by GPG. And then we had 1 patient that was transported to South Rand by our own GPG team. 15 that we transported again, the 15 team, which was our team again, that is, it was taken to South Rand, that one. Then we had 4 patients that were taken to South Rand again, transported by Life 911. Then we had 4 again to South Rand, which was unknown, those ones. And then 2 to Garden City, what was transported by ER24. And then at Malberton Hospital, we had 2 patients, which were P2, and they were transported by ER24. And then part of this, we had critical, 1 patient that was very critical, which was P2, and seriously, it was P3, and now they are moderate, those ones. On the latest update that we have in terms of our patients again, which I think you all need, we have here at CMJA 5 patients, including 1 pediatric patient that is still being assessed. And then in Hillbrook, we have 13 patients. 10 has been discharged in Hillbrook, and 3 has been transferred to CMJA, so they are here. At Garden City, we had 2 patients, 1 discharged and 1 has been admitted. And at Malberton Hospital, we had 2 patients. Both the patients are still in hospital in Malberton. At South Rand, we have 24 patients. All those that were transported to South Rand have been discharged. And then we had 1 patient, which was P4, that was found on the scene.
So I think, if there are no further remarks there,
yes.
Then maybe we can allow, once you've given your remarks, Prof, to just elaborate on the cases that are here.
Yes. I think because we have received these patients and they are receiving medical treatment, even the ones that are inside, I will hand over to Prof to talk to those that are inside that they've been treating. But I think we want to appreciate that at least there was a good response from our teams in all the hospitals, including Charlotte Maxeke Hospital. And we want to thank you, Prof, with your team, with the good work that we have done in making sure that even the critical ones that have been referred here in the hospital, they are stable now, they are in a stable condition. So now I will hand over to Prof to explain to you exactly what are some of those problems that they were dealing with when the patients arrived. Prof.
Thank you very much. I think one thing that is for sure and that's clear is that an event like this can only be managed by a region, and that's what you're seeing, that different hospitals have had to partake in the management of these patients, and it's a continuum of care that has to be offered. From where we are, from our hospital, as it was said, we've had about 5 patients, 1 who is seriously injured, to moderately to seriously injured, and other patients that are stable. All of them are in a stable condition, all of them are well. We will be preparing to get them to the wards moving forward, and they might require some interventions later related to the lower limbs. But it is good to know that, again, most of our patients are stable and are doing well. But it's a team approach that I want to highlight. The fact that, again, if we are not ready for such mass casualty events, we are not going to be able to help, because again, these things will happen one way or the other for various reasons. And the team that was behind us as well has really worked very, very hard. But there's one plea that I have from the healthcare workers' point of view. When we have such massive events like this, and people are requested to vacate from these incidents, can we listen, please?
Yes.
Because when we have an incident like this and we are asking the community to move away and they help and they hold on to the events, if something else happens after that, we're going to have much more casualties than what we've seen. And this is not the only incident that we've seen where the communities are not listening to safety guidelines at these events. Please, as healthcare workers, we are bleeding and we are pleading with you that please, when you are asked by those that are looking after safety and security at these scenes, that's not a time for pictures, that's not a time for cameras, that's a time for safety so that we can evacuate and deal with those that are injured at the scene. I think that will be all from my side on behalf of the team that's working here at Charlotte.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then is that we're just going to allow for maybe clarity-seeking questions from the members of the media that is present, and maybe just to also indicate, I think Prof has made a serious plea that perhaps needs to be more emphasized in terms of people that do gaze watching when there's an incident. Yeah, you would have seen yesterday what happened. So I think maybe the ministry will also elaborate more on that. By show of hands, you'll just introduce yourself, the media house you come from. I recognize the two hands here, the third hand this side. Are you raising a hand? Oh, okay. You can go ahead, just recognize, indicate the station you come from and your name, and then your question. Can we please not have multiple questions, just maybe 2 questions a person, so that we can allow everyone a chance to get clarity. And if your question has already been asked, there's no harm in passing and maybe asking a different question that you need clarity on.
MEC, my name is Faisal Patel. I'm with the Citizen News in Joburg. One of the things the Gauteng Premier mentioned this morning during an update was that there's still the smell or high smell of gas in the Joburg CBD after yesterday's explosion. We know Igoli Gas issued a statement saying that it may not be related to gas. From the casualties that you've received, besides the physical injuries, is there any patients within this facility or any other facility that are showing symptoms other than physical injury with regards to, I don't know what the symptoms of gas inhalation is, probably vomiting or whatever it is, but are there any symptoms of gas inhalation with the patients that have been admitted to this hospital? And if the Prof can just elaborate on the injuries of the patients that have been admitted.
I think Prof will elaborate to the injuries, but with the ones that I've seen now, I didn't see any symptoms of gas. And Prof in their briefing, they didn't tell me that this one, because they had to take me to every patient, they didn't indicate that. But Prof will say that in details then, what is it that they've seen in terms of the injuries of the patients.
Maybe let me take Prof and then I'll put it.
Yeah, just to confirm, none of the patients, just to confirm, none of the patients have got any evidence of inhalation from what we've seen at our hospital. Secondly, just to emphasize the issue, most of the injuries are typical of this mechanism. So you have a lot of soft tissue, muscle type, as well as fracture type of injuries. But there is none of these cases in this hospital that either have a severe head injury or need abdominal operations. They will just need to be having management to the chest, to the lower limbs, and then one patient will manage the chest injuries that they are having at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question.
It's Sebasivia from UFM News. Are you able to tell, out of the patients who are admitted here, are you able to tell when can they be discharged, or is it too early to say?
I think Prof and CEO can talk to that.
Yeah, it's too early to say, okay, but I can assure you, except for one patient that might need a bit of close observations, they will just require ordinary ward management, okay? But it's too early to say when the rest of the treatment will be completed.
I think there was another hand this side. You're covered now. Okay, colleagues, if there isn't any further clarity seeking, I think this then will conclude our update. We will issue a statement after this, just to re-emphasize, I think, the points that have been made, maybe for those that are not here, but I think you all have an update.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Sorry. Joburg Emergency Services was saying this morning that the area obviously has been cordoned off and it's been unstable, the roads have been closed and stuff. There is a possibility, a slight possibility of further sort of collapse in that particular area. Other hospitals across Joburg are ready for, hopefully not an influx of more patients.
Our hospitals are ready for any patients that can come, but we pray that we don't get an influx, but we are ready.
Thank you, MEC.
Especially the regional hospitals, because we'll have to distribute those patients to the regional hospitals. But the CEO can talk to that too.
Yeah.
Yes. The CEO in a capacity as the cluster
Yeah,
head
she has
for
the cluster.
facilities the site, because we've got clusters. Maybe the CEO can come the site.
Yeah, come this side too.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Face the site.
Oh, yeah. In Johannesburg, we've got two big academic hospitals, which is Charlotte Maxeke and Chris Hani Baragwanath. They have highly specialized trauma-trained doctors, of which one of them is Prof. Moeng. But they are not only trauma-trained, they are also disaster management. So they are the ones who actually guide us in terms of saying, activate a disaster. And that's why even yesterday, when the alert was sent, within 5 minutes, quite a few of us were here already. Even Prof was here within 15, 20 minutes, she was here. So when incidences like this, and I would like Prof to extend how they deal with incidences of this magnitude and the follow-ups around that, so that you can understand that it's a health system. But as they said lastly, you had different hospitals. So if Prof felt that these ones were not relevant to us, just like Hillbrow did, we would have referred them maybe to Leratong, which is a regional hospital, or Helen Joseph, which is a provincial treasurer, unlike this one, which is a central. So I would like Prof to explain the disaster response.
And I think that's why I started by saying it's a team effort and a teamwork. Teamwork means there's coordinated work, all of us, pre-hospital team, state hospitals, private institutions, we have to always be prepared to have readiness for such mass casualty events. Okay, so as I speak, for example, in this hospital, we were having our disaster committee meeting, which is a regular event, irrespective of this incident. And what are we doing? We are constantly sitting down, preparing, figuring out how to deal with mass number of patients that come in. And that system is spread throughout most of our hospitals in this area. Can you prepare enough? Nobody can prepare more than enough, okay, but can you do your best and prepare the best that you can? That is what we are interested in. So we do drills, we try to evacuate, we revise, we've got regulations that we're using, but there is no country in the world where that is not necessary, because you can never know when an incident like this, whether natural or man-made, might arise, and we always have to be ready for that.
Thank you, colleagues.
Okay.
The invoice is on the way.